Have you heard about James McAvoy's performance in the upcoming film Speak No Evil? He gives new meaning to terrifying and will scare you speechless. The film is filled with teeth-clenching, seat-clawing suspense and will haunt you forever. Be careful who you trust. Universal Pictures and Blumhouse invite you to Speak No Evil, only in theaters September 13th.
For exclusive podcasts and more, sign up at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
Are you ready for a test?
Yeah.
Okay. How about I tell you a joke? How many podcasters does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know.
1, but to fully understand why, we have to first travel back in time to the year 1880.
Fucking hell.
This week's Law & Order Marathon winner is Erin Rich from Dover, Delaware. Erin will get a marathon decal showing she watched 26.2 hours of her favorite crime show. To be next week's winner, sign up at lawandorderpodcast.com.
I'm Kevin Flynn with Rebecca Lavoie and Natalie Grillo, and these are their stories.
You think you know who did it, but you don't know who did it. Law and order, law and order, law and order. It's no ordinary police procedural, baby. It's the FNOG of police procedurals, baby. Law and order, law and order, law and order, law and order. These are their stories, these are their stories.
Welcome to These Are Their Stories, the podcast about network TV's most enduring crime franchise and the real-life cases that inspired their shows. I'm Kevin Flynn. Each podcast, we break down an episode from either Criminal Intent, SVU, or Original Recipe, and today we're looking at Special Victims Unit, Season 3, Episode 10, Ridicule.
First male rape victim with female perps, that adds up to a lot of attention, doesn't it, Counselor?
I am not interested in that. He is the first man to come forward. The statute for Rape 1 was changed in January, Detective.
Joining me to do just that is true crime author and the host of Crime Writers On, and the Signal Awards nominated, you can't make this up, Rebecca Lavoie. Hello, Rebecca.
Oh, wow. What an honor, Kevin. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, well, hey, congratulations on being on the Signal Award submitted. These are their stories.
Hey, I'm a double. I'm a double nominee, actually.
You are?
Yes, because one of the shows that I oversee at my day job is also a nominee. Outside In's The Underdog series is a nominee in the sports documentary category.
Hey, that's great.
Hey now. Hey now.
Okay. And rounding out our panel is our special guest from the Obsessed Network. It's Natalie Grillo. Hello, Natalie.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
So I know you're hard at work on Obsessed Fest in Dallas later this month. What are we going to see if we show up? And we are going to show up. But
Okay, good. Oh my goodness.
What will one see? Yes.
We have so many amazing true crime podcasters coming, yourselves included. We also have Rabia Chaudhry, Bob Ruff, Shayna Landry, all of our shows on the network. So I can't wait. And then we also have things like Drag Bingo. I'm doing SVU trivia. So a ton of options.
And give us the dates.
It is October.
No, seriously, give me the date. What am I?
It is October 20th to the 22nd in Dallas, Texas.
And you can go to, is it obsessedfest.com to sign up and get more details?
Yes. Yep. You can purchase tickets. Come check us out.
Now, I know that you checked this out. We're going to be doing a live show again this year at Obsessed Fest of These Are Their Stories. We did one last year. Had you known about These Are Their Stories before you attended our recording last year at Obsessed Fest?
I did not. I wasn't aware of the podcast. And then I wanted to go to the taping last year, but I had to be somewhere else at that time. So I listened to it after the fact, and then I was hooked. So I've listened to so many episodes. It's nice to have a large catalog to listen to. So I've been a big fan ever since.
That's great. So are you going to rearrange your schedule so you can come this time?
Hopefully, yes. We've just locked in the schedule, so I've got to check.
Yeah.
If not, I will be listening after the fact for sure.
Oh, no, you got to come. There's video and everything. It's a lot of work goes into it. Natalie, of all the franchises, which two cops are your favorite detective team?
Favorite Law and Order detective team.
Definitely Benson and Stabler. I'm wearing I don't know if you can see it, my Benson and Stabler shirt today. I'm a big stan.
You're a big. Are you a shipper? A stable? What? Can't remember.
Bensler. What's the matter with you?
I know. I had Bassity or.
Have you ever been on Twitter, man? Come on.
I know. I was.
Well, I was not a shipper of them when he was originally on, but then with the return and Kathy dying, I'm like, why not? Let's do this.
It's okay now. He's a widower.
Yeah.
And who is your favorite prosecutorial team?
Favorite Law and Order District Attorney Prosecutorial Team.
You know, I was thinking about this, and Cabot and Novak were strong contenders, but ultimately I'm going with Sonia Paxton. I just loved her roller coaster of a storyline on that show.
I think that's a first, right?
Yeah. Wait, who? What?
Sonia was the ADA who was she started out being like incompetent at her job. She came drunk to trial, but then she made a great return and died trying to get justice for a victim.
It's kind of a deep cut for me. I should know that. I guess I got your first stumper for your SVU trivia game.
Yes.
All right, now let's take a look at the first half of this episode. SVU Season 3, Episode 10, Ridicule. Just a note, we're going to be talking about fictional detectives investigating fictional sex crimes against a fictional male stripper. If you find that especially heinous, you can select another one of our episodes.
That's code for don't cancel us, please.
Exactly.
We're going to laugh a lot about a male getting raped. Yeah, okay. You can switch off right now. You've been warned.
It's fake.
It's fake. Andrew Green comes home to find his wife Sydney tied up with a rope around her neck, apparently dead from autoerotic asphyxiation. Stabler and Benson aren't sure whether the death was an accident or whether there was murder.
Any alarm bells going off on the husband?
Several. He's hiding something.
Getting off while choking isn't something you share with friends and family. People are always shocked when they get that kind of news.
I still think the victim was entertaining. She had a new man, or probably got there earlier than he said.
The detectives learned junk bond dealer Sydney's new marriage to starving artist Andrew was headed for divorce, but if he was looking for a big payout, he'd learned that she's broke. Her friends, hotshot lawyer Pam Adler and fellow day trader Amelia Chase, said Sydney liked to live on the edge. That includes her bachelorette party where she attacked the male stripper. Peter Green says the cops didn't believe him when he reported he'd been raped by 3 women, and Stabler isn't buying it either. Elliot says, why didn't he fight back? Why didn't he say no? And why am I not that lucky? But Benson and Cabot want to pursue what would be the first case of a man raped by a woman in the state. Peter tells Alex 3 party-goers threatened him with a letter opener, cuffed him to a bed, yanked off his pants, and rode him like a coin-operated mechanical horse you see outside a grocery store. Peter picks out Pam and Amelia from a lineup, and the pair are charged with first-degree rape. Okay, Benson and Stabler are called in because the protocol is that it's treated like a homicide until the ME says otherwise. And they say, well, women aren't usually into autoerotic asphyxiation. When Benson says, well,
Maybe she wanted to treat herself. Most women don't go this far, but they do like to self-serve.
I guess if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
And Kathy Stabler yells out, hell yes!
Yeah, how do you think all those kids ended up around, right? It wasn't because he was doing it right.
Well, I mean, technically he did it right, 5 times at least, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of kids.
There's quantity and quality, and I think we're leading into quantity.
Yeah.
Definitely quantity with Elliot.
Yeah, there's a reason why Kathleen was such a problem.
Oh my gosh. A few of them were problems.
By the way, there was some talk in the squad room. Did you catch that Finn had been accused of police brutality by Pam Adler?
Yes.
For roughing up a cop killer.
She cross-examined me on a drug bust where a cop got killed, accused me of police brutality.
Don't tell me the perp went to the hospital.
The drug dealer's still alive. The cop isn't.
You know what that is?
Sweet wisdom from Finn.
Yeah, by the way, this is coming from the guy who wrote a whole song called Cop Killer.
Yes.
Before he joined the cast. Here are the lyrics in case you forgot them. I got my 12 gauge sawed off. I got my headlights turned off. I'm about to bust some shots off. I'm about to dust some cops off.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. SVU.
You did?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so all his street cred just went right down the drain. Well, I think he got it back, right? No, he absolutely lost it right there.
Listen, he's raking it in. He's doing fine.
It's fine.
He's part of this brand. He's embracing it. He's doing just fine.
Some residuals here and there.
Yeah.
Yes. So Finn and Munch go to talk to fellow day trader Amelia Chase, who said that Sidney, quote, made a fortune in junk, which is ironic because Peter also made a fortune in junk, his own.
A fortune, though?
Not a fortune. Just enough to help out that poor animal shelter that he liked to volunteer for.
He has such a big heart, Peter.
He did.
Not just that.
How do you know?
Well, apparently, probably not because it said there was a badge that covered it. So, I mean, how big of a badge, really? Natalie, have you seen a badge?
Yes.
It was like sheriff, like it had like the pointy stars and everything. It's like, yeah, bang. So the substitute medical examiner, known only as Justin, finally determines that Sidney's death was an accident, and he demonstrates it by using a hunched-over mannequin tied in ropes that he manipulates like a Muppet.
She tightened the rope around her neck like so, and using an arm to support her weight on the bed, she leaned at a slight angle.
But she miscalculated, lost control, and passed out.
Her body goes slack and acts as a counterweight.
We call it gentle strangulation.
That is some incredible knot work, by the way. Who at that office knew how to do that?
I was wondering if there was a marionette expert on that in that cast. I was wondering, honestly, you know how like they get a lot of like Broadway people?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering if there was like a marionette show, maybe somebody from Avenue Q or something had like come over and like made that whole thing work, like some puppeteer situation or somebody from the Lion King.
Yeah, because Natalie, this mannequin, by the way, has on this black curly hair wig and like a black leotard. And I buy that Broadway, excuse Rebecca, because it looks like this mannequin is auditioning for a chorus line.
It does. I was like, what is up with this mannequin's look? I was also wondering, though, if they were just asked someone in the squad, like, does anyone have a doll at home? Like, it looked like a blow doll from someone's house. But they're like, I got one.
One with articulating arms? Yes. It looks like she's dressed like she just fell out of Jane Fonda's workout. Okay, guys, we get to see somebody before they were famous.
Before they were famous.
Who's the up-and-coming actress playing Amelia Chase? Natalie, do you know? Do you recognize her?
I do know. It's Diane Neil.
You know, in some ways, we were kindred spirits.
How so?
There aren't too many women in our business. And we both like to make lots of money and show up the entitled men while we were doing it.
Diane Neil, number one of more than 100 appearances on SVU.
Wow.
Before becoming Casey Novak. She is, by the way, the longest-serving ADA in the Law & Order universe.
Yeah.
Second only to Jack McCoy.
Failed congressional candidate, Diane Neil.
Oh, you know I'm going to get to that. But long before, Diane was a competitive figure skater as a teen, started college at age 16, was pre-med, studied archaeology, but then dropped out to pursue a career in modeling, all just like me.
How old was she when she made this episode, you know?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, early 20s. I didn't do the math here.
Yeah.
Let's see, her first job in Hollywood was, she was dubbing in English the lines for Cleopatra in a French film, Asterisk and Oblique, Mission Cleopatra. It got une étoile. So Neil said that she had been fired, but producers said, no, not fired. It's just that after 5 seasons, there was nothing more we could do with the character. And then they'd later say, hey, for season 24, let's say Finn likes to go fishing. 5 seasons was enough for her, but they're still like, okay, Finn, here's another thing you can think is messed up.
Yeah, it's almost like the women ADAs like age out or something of those roles or something.
Yeah.
Born Diane Neil Fitzgerald, she recently moved to Israel because of, she says, the anti-Semitism she faced in New York was just way too intense. Her great-grandparents on her mother's side escaped the Holocaust. Even though she's got that Irish name, she's got that in her blood. She says she feels safer in the Middle East.
Oh.
That's quite a statement.
Yeah.
I don't know. Natalie, you live in New York. I mean, what do you think is probably more dangerous?
Oh, definitely New York.
Yeah.
Definitely New York. Okay, there you go.
She lived like in the Catskills, so I mean, come on.
As you know, Diane Neil ran for Congress as an independent. She received 1% of the vote. When asked on her candidate survey for Ballatopedia, she was asked what her favorite book was, and she said, Moby Dick. It's by far the funniest book ever written. And I'm starting to feel like I really don't know Diane Neil. It's hysterical.
I don't know if Diane Neil knows Diane Neil.
Yeah.
I remember her describing herself as like really, really liberal, but also a libertarian. So yeah, all over the place.
We have a Hey, It's That Girl.
Hey, it's that girl.
Can you name the actress playing Pam Adler?
She was supposed to meet Amelia and me for lunch. When she didn't show, we went over to her apartment. Sydney said that she wanted to be alone, but I think she had company.
That is Discount Lori Loughlin, otherwise known as Paige Turco.
Yes.
I know her as Bailey's not Jennifer Love Hewitt girlfriend from Party of Five.
Yes, the single mom.
I watched that show from beginning to end, and that's how I know her. She was just as smarmy looking on that show as she was on this episode of SVU.
Yeah, you also may know her as Dr. Abigail Griffin on the CW sci-fi series The 100.
No, I don't know that.
Gail in American Gothic. Also, she played April in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, I thought she looked familiar, but I was thinking Diane Lane, but Lori Loughlin is definitely closer.
Discount. For discount.
100%.
She was also Terry in The Agency, and that is where she met her husband, co-star Jason O'Mara. Jason, by the way, has been the voice of Batman in the series of Justice League cartoons.
Huh, those are good cartoons.
How like difficult of an acting job is it? You just want to go, well, I'm Batman now. That's all you do. Just talk like I'm a really tough guy, but my real voice isn't tough. Have you seen the Lego version of me?
That guy's funnier.
That guy's funnier. That's right.
Sounds like the husky ADA voice.
Yeah, there you go. Your Honor, I object.
This is my casting tape for Dick Wolf right now.
That's right. Let's see here. Paige had been a ballerina before an ankle injury in her teens, and she says, you can tell from how someone dances with you how he'll be in bed. Great dancers are usually great lovers. Whether they're worth their 2 cents as people is another story.
Is it Pam Adler saying this or Paige Turco saying this?
Paige Turco says this.
Wow. That's some Adler-esque stuff right there.
It is, yeah. By the way, that's why, my favorite dance is the hustle. It's the one where you slowly walk together back to back.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how we roll.
That's how we roll in front of a bunch of other people. So who's playing an attorney? Carolyn Maddox.
Rape is a violation of body and mind. A violation that comes through penetration. Women can't rape men.
I know.
Who's that, Rebecca?
That's CCH Pounder.
Yeah, CCH Pounder. First of 5 appearances as this character on SVU. She was Dr. Wade on all 7 seasons of NCIS New Orleans. She's got 4 Emmy nominations, 2 for supporting actress in The Shield and in ER, and 2 for guest performances in The X-Files and the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. She's also currently performing in Blueface as the spiritual leader in the Avatar series. The CCH stands for Carol Christine Hilaria, which is always hilarious when I think of Alex Baldwin's wife.
Yep.
She grew up, and this is CCH Pounder, she grew up on a sugarcane plantation in British Guiana. And she is a huge collector of African and Caribbean art. She has more than 500 pieces in her personal collection. And so much that she started a museum in Senegal. And Chicago's DuSable Museum just wrapped up an exhibition of the African diaspora exclusively of her art.
Wow.
Yeah, now, by the way, my art collection consists of a 1980s poster of the St. Pauli girl. That's all I got. We do have a crossover. Diane Wiest is here as Mothership Interim DA Nora Lewin.
I don't like to play politics, but we can't be naive. If they find a way to use it, they will.
By the way, she was interim DA for 2 years. Do you remember who appointed her interim DA?
Wasn't it Fred Thompson?
No.
No?
Fred Thompson comes after her.
I do know. I do know. It was Rudy Giuliani.
Yes. And a cameo. It was Rudy Giuliani.
I've got to get back to City Hall. You're going to be absolutely terrific. You've been doing a great job, Jack. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Apparently, Rudy Giuliani came in because he had the power to appoint a new DA, and then he went fucking crazy. So we have a repeat offender.
Repeat offender.
Joanna Merlin is back as Judge Petrovsky. We love her because she was the original Zeidel in Fiddler on the Roof.
Be prepared, be diligent, and be very brief.
we do have a Hey, It's That Guy.
Hey, it's that guy.
Who is playing Executive Assistant DA Stan Villani.
Well, I have some doubts.
May I ask why?
Using a male stripper in the first real test of the rape statute is not a very judicious choice.
No. I don't know either.
You don't recognize him? Okay,
No.
That is the late Ron Liebman. 6 Law & Order appearances, 4. As Villani, he won a Primetime Emmy Award in 1979. As Kaczynski on a TV show he wrote and created named Kaz. And then CBS canceled it 2 weeks later.
Is it like the show that Steve Martin was supposed to have starred on Only Murders in the Building?
Oh, like Brazos?
Oh, yes.
Brazos, yeah. Who loves you, baby? Oh, that's Kojak. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. That's Beretta.
He won an Emmy for a thing that was only on for like a couple of months?
Yeah.
Amazing. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. That's showbiz, though. He was married for 12 years to Linda Lavin, who was the classic TV character.
Wonder Woman?
No.
Who's that?
Linda Lavin was Valerie? No.
Early to bed.
Just say
Early to rest.
Yeah.
Alice.
Alice, that's right.
Kiss my
Diner.
grits, Rebecca.
Flo.
Mel. Alice. Okay.
Flo.
Ron appeared on Friends as Rachel's father.
Oh.
Remember that? Yeah. He apparently got on set that day and began a lovely conversation with his on-air daughter. He thought was Lisa Kudrow was Rachel because he was the one guy in America who didn't watch Friends.
Oh, okay.
He was in the control group.
Gosh, I have to admit I'm not a Friends person. I'm a bad New Yorker.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you don't have $1 million apartment you get on a chef's salary?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Do you know the actor who's playing Amelia's attorney, Barry Fords?
This better be good, Miss Cabot.
No.
Do not.
Quick appearance here. That's David Adkins, 4 Law & Order appearances. He's had bit parts in Homeland, The Americans, and Rebecca's favorite movie, The Thomas Crown Affair.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh.
He is a former Mr. Laura Linney.
Ooh, lucky him.
Yeah.
She has 3 Oscar nominations, 4 Emmy Awards, and 4 nominations for Ozark. I'd say that this David, he doesn't strike me as a Marty, maybe more as a Ruth. Like, I don't know fuck about shit.
Any chance you have to pull that out, you got to do it.
Got to pull it out. Yeah. Lastly, do you know the attorney who was walking into court with Pam when she gets brought in for questioning? Did you know who that was?
No.
Okay, that's the late Patrick Quinn, 3 Law & Order appearances for the trifecta. He was better known as a singer. He was in the 6th season of Schoolhouse Rock. I don't know, like we always sort of kind of like know those first 4 seasons, like History and Multiplication. They brought it back for another 3 seasons in the 80s or 90s. One was about financial literacy, the environment, and I think computers, which a lot of us didn't see. So he was in the one about financial literacy. Patrick was Max in the song Taxman Max, starting a whole new generation of young Republicans. So that season, they changed it. It wasn't Schoolhouse Rock. It was Homeschooled Rock. And its songs were, I'm just a bill, but I'd rather shut down the government. Suffering because of suffrage.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
By the way, the pronoun song was really short. It was just 2 verses. There was the Great American Melting Pot, a.k.a. White Replacement. Mm-hmm. There was the preamble to some document I've never read. And lastly, No More Kings, except for this one guy. Also making its last appearance on Law & Order, the World Trade Center.
Oh.
Could be seen through a window. This episode came out December 2001, so it was apparently filmed before 9/11. Afterwards, NBC ordered all images of the towers removed from the credits of all 3 shows. So there is that. But back to the episode here. Elliot doesn't believe women. Now he doesn't believe men. What is he even doing here?
I can't with Elliot in this episode. What do you think, Natalie?
He is such a dick in this episode. Such a dick. And him, like, the rolling up of the sleeves. I'm like, Elliot, no.
I mean, he's just Elliot in this episode. He's undistilled Elliot. Like, this is the Elliot that when people give me shade over like shitting on Elliot, this is what I am talking about. This is the guy that I am like, why do people want Benson to be with this guy? I hate this guy. This is what I'm talking about. This episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's going to have lunch, so he's going to bring in Wong.
Bring it Wong. He's not wrong. Bring it Wong.
And so on this lunch date, he wants to try to pick his brain about, why this big, strong, exotic dancer like Peter couldn't fight off the women.
Does the victim have any siblings?
2 sisters.
There you go. A lifetime of instructions on how to treat women. Never hit a female, no manhandling. If you're angry, walk away.
Yeah, but if he felt trapped, if they attacked him, it's self-defense. Why not just fight back?
Because he had no control over the situation.
But I find it way more interesting what Wong brought for lunch.
Yes.
So he's got this Tupperware container of celery and carrots.
Yes.
An apple and a banana and a bowl of chicken noodle soup.
Yes.
And a strawberry milkshake.
And crackers.
Well, the cracker, yeah. But not like Ritz crackers. They're like some high-end, like the crackers you'd put out in a charcuterie plate.
Yes. He has every food group represented for his
He does.
lunch.
And the extreme close-ups in this scene of him just with those giant crackers. I couldn't focus on the conversation.
All I could think about was Claire in the Breakfast Club when everybody has like their shitty lunches and she pulls out the bento box and opens it and it's got like the sushi in it and everything is like so neatly packed. Like, how long was Elliot sitting there while he was unveiling that lunch and like lining everything up on the table?
But he also brought soup in a real bowl. Did he bring a can in and go, does anybody have a can opener? I want to. Is this just microwave or can I actually do it on the pot on the top? By the way, meanwhile, Elliot is eating a salad with his fingers.
With a comb, like eating a Klobuchar.
Exactly. Yeah. Just picking it up, putting it in his mouth. I mean, the actual hell.
Just saying, Wong, somebody else who clearly listened to his mother and obeyed his sisters.
Exactly.
Yes.
So fastidious.
Yes, this felt like a father-son scene where like some kid was behaving badly and had to go get lunch with his dad who could teach him some lessons.
Who was the dad? Goodness gracious. So there's a recurring thought experiment as to whether men can be raped by women, like why they don't fight their way out of it.
3 women at the same time, most guys would call that lucky.
So we're saying that men are sex hounds and only women can feel violated? That's gender bias.
Most women don't report rapes. What's the thing?
Can't ask that question. Wouldn't ask a female victim.
We question female victims all the time.
I'm sorry. This is so... Okay, everyone describes Peter as not credible. He is completely fucking credible.
Yes.
And everyone keeps saying, can men be raped by women? Yes! Is this 1840?
I know, and they've done multiple episodes on this, and it's the same story, it's the same excuses. I'm like, men can be raped.
I can't.
Yeah.
This episode. I can't.
Well, they do have everybody in the squad have the obligatory discussion about gender discrimination.
Yes, especially Olivia. She's spewing those lines and facts.
Yeah, it's interesting that the men feel like it can't happen, but the women do. And the women are the ones that fight for the male victim, Benson and Cabot.
Yeah.
By the way, Rebecca, did you know that when Peter, that he got 16% more assault than the other special victims?
Oh, stop it. Most guys would call that lucky, right?
Damn, I'm so lucky.
I mean, those are the kinds of things they say.
Yeah.
Most guys would call that lucky. I'm so lucky. This also, by the way, underscores not just the grossness of men around like whether or not a man could get raped, also the grossness of men of just like the stereotype of just like all just men want is just like sex all the time. And that even if they want to say no, the minute that it's presented to them, well, yeah, I'm in. I'm like, that is just so gross. Like, it's gross. And of course, like, someone can be like, ew, no. Like, of course they can. Like, I hate it.
Yeah, Natalie, apparently the argument against all this has to do with whether it's turgid.
The Tumescence police.
Yeah. Your Honor, if it's hard as a brick, you must acquit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So they have Peter pick Pam out of a lineup. And so to make this fair, they bring in every other 30-year-old administrative assistant in a silk blouse that they can find.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How is this helpful?
What do you mean?
Well, it's like Oh, no, I couldn't really pick her out unless she was wearing a business suit. The same business suit she apparently wore to the bachelorette party. It's got to be a skirt. She mounted me with it, so.
They were all dressed the same. I was also wondering, like, was this Diane Neil's audition to be an ADA? They were like, that girl looks good in a business suit, has the husky voice, cast her.
Yeah. I was maybe Paige Turco was up for the role as well.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant piece of writing in the first half of this episode.
What's that?
Diane Neil's like a high-end, some trader or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk into her office and she's on the phone with Germany to a man named Klaus talking about the trading price of the Deutschmark.
I can't talk now, detectives, but if you'd like to wait in reception. No, not you, Klaus. Deutschmarks are up 3 points. Will it hold?
They couldn't do any better than that.
Nope.
For like this finance woman. Like, that's it. A man named Klaus and the price of the Deutschmark. Like, I could write that and I know nothing about finance.
I thought she was making a fortune in junk. Gotta get that junk.
Klaus, was the Autobahn seeing a lot of traffic this morning on your way to do your Deutschmark trading?
My goodness, I know it's 7 p.m. there, but...
How's your Wiener Schnitzel dinner, Klaus?
I know, I was waiting for her to start speaking German, but you know the writers, they were like, does anyone know German? Yeah. Can we throw in a line? No.
I'm going to come visit you for Oktoberfest, Klaus. It's like, what other German things does everyone in the room know that we can throw onto this conversation?
There was just one line. Sometimes Finn and Munch have like those great one-liners. Munch had a line.
Time and money. Some women learn early how to waste both.
Such a Munch line.
Well, not completely wrong.
Yeah. Finn's like, you're so bitter. No, I'm just enlightened.
I mean, Kevin might argue that in my case, that's not entirely inaccurate.
No, you don't waste time.
Or money.
Time.
Have you heard about James McAvoy's performance in the upcoming film Speak No Evil? He gives new meaning to terrifying and will scare you speechless. The film is filled with teeth-clenching, seat-clawing suspense and will haunt you forever. Be careful who you trust. Universal Pictures and Blumhouse invite you to Speak No Evil, only in theaters September 13th.
This is the famous footwear that makes us actually want to go back to school. With the newest styles from all your favorite brands, like Nike, Adidas, Crocs, Converse, New Balance, Birkenstock, and more. You'll find everything kids want, all at prices parents can appreciate. Because you don't have to overspend to make it famous. Famous Footwear even has fit experts in store to make sure you get the right size every time. So, for the perfect fit, make it famous. Plus, right now, save up to $30 extra when you shop your local Famous Footwear or famous.com. Some exclusions apply.
Now let's take a look at the second half of this episode. Even though the new law is clearly on her side, Cabot faces obstacles prosecuting two women for raping a male stripper.
A woman can be prosecuted for sodomy 1 by filleting a man against his will. She's not the penetrant, but she's still guilty.
I contend that arousal implies consent.
A physiological response does not override a vocal no.
Most men do not maintain an erection through fear, counselor.
But some men do. What do you propose, a tumescence exam?
Cabot lost a previous trial against Pam, and interim DA Nora Lewin doesn't want the case to look like retribution. She gives the prosecution to trial chief Stan Villani and makes Alex second chair. High-priced defense attorney Carolyn Maddox argues it's physically impossible for a woman to rape a man, but the judge allows the case to proceed. Now, at trial, the judge allows Pam to cross-examine her accuser. She gets Peter to reveal that he filed a $5 million lawsuit against Sydney and the two unidentified assailants. And Stabler says, I fucking knew it! But Sydney told her friends that she was going to settle. And Liv and Elliot think that gives Pam and Amelia motive to kill Sydney. When they ask Warner to double-check the autopsy, she says that Sydney's death was no accident. Olivia discovers they never dusted the bedroom ceiling for fingerprints, which would have been left by whoever tied the rope to the fan. The prints belonged to admitted choker and stroker Amelia, who agreed, don't look at me like that, that's what she says, Amelia, who agrees to testify against Pam at the rape trial for a lighter sentence. Maddox scores points getting Amelia to confirm that Pam left money for Peter, not the actions of a rapist, right? The jury convicts Pam of a minor assault charge but acquits her of rape. Maybe next time, she says, and is immediately arrested for Sydney's murder. So the state of New York changed the word woman to person in the rape law. That's what we're talking about.
So woke.
But
Yes.
Pam tells the press after her arraignment that she just got a healthy sexual appetite.
I admit to having intimate sexual relations with the alleged victim, a venal young man who wants to be famous. My only crime is being a confident, assertive professional with a healthy sexual appetite.
So her defense is, I'm not rapey, I'm just freaky.
And you're sexist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like getting it in.
It's very progressive in a way.
It is.
Very progressive and not progressive at the same time.
Benson and Stabler go interview a woman from the bachelorette party, and she says,
I thought it was rude at the time, but I needed to get home and relieve the babysitter.
also relieving the babysitter is what Pam called it when he did Peter.
So for this episode, Kevin,
Yeah.
were you just like sexual innuendo, sexual innuendo, sexual innuendo, like in a way that like you've never been free to do before? It's so exciting for you.
Well, I don't know. Like, maybe I could, on this time, I could make fun of the rape victim. I don't know.
See, you're like just like Stabler.
Just like Stabler.
Damn it, Kevin. Damn it.
All you had to do was fight him off.
Oh, that's all you had to do.
I don't know. I still think like 3 women on top, even like 3 kindergarten kids. You're like, I can't fucking get up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got 1 dog, and I'm like, I'm trapped to this bed. So Maddox argues that the law is flawed, and the judge says, hey, there's no selective equality under the First Amendment. And that's because it would be the 14th Amendment, and there's Google, and fuck you, writer's room, you blew it again.
Yes. Yes. Klaus.
Oh my God, Klaus.
Can't blame Clarence Thomas for that one, but
Yeah, don't they have consultants on this show typically?
You'd think so.
yeah, but they're like, well, the judge would wear a black robe, and where's my check?
Haven't they written previous law scenes though in this show? Right?
I mean, this is still an early season, so maybe enough people wrote in that were like, you're wrong about all of this.
Hey, I do remember covering one episode where Finn said something was the time of death when it was actually the manner of death.
Oh.
So sometimes shit gets by.
The time of death was homicide.
Yeah, that's what the manner of death was 7 o'clock. Cause of death?
The murder weapon was
12 p.m.
So they make this big showing of Warner, who is away at the conference, so she can now come back and check Justin's work.
Yeah,
of course.
And she said, why does she think this is homicide? Because she's looking at the crime scene photos and she says,
Most women don't use porn. They fantasize.
thank you, medical examiner Melinda Warner.
Yes.
This is before the days where you could just get as much stepmom porn as you want.
Yeah, because that's
on
what
your
women
phone.
like, Kevin. Women like to watch young men having sex with one of their parents. That's what we're super into.
Yeah.
when we
Well,
go on
yeah, but
Pornhub.
they like the part where it's their stepson, right?
Oh my God.
I'll never get that.
No.
I'll never get the algorithm that's like, yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what. No, I mean, I know that obviously people want it because it's there and it's like popular, but ugh.
Yeah, no, none of that like familial incest. No.
Yeah, they pointed out, okay, there was no porn, but they pointed out there's a mirror. Like, okay.
A mirror and the candles and the music. You're like,
Yeah, there's candles in the bathroom. What is going on here?
I love myself. I turned myself on is what's going on there. I'm not saying me. I'm saying that's what's going on there.
Yeah, I string myself up.
Yeah, I really love that Melinda had such in-depth analysis of this. Like she had knowledge.
Yeah, and she's also like, well, whoever did this, they knew how to tie the knots. Like, well, why aren't you talking to Justin and his fucking mannequin? Somebody knew that. Somebody there knew how to do that. Find out one of those administrative assistants in the silk blouse if they know anything about clove hitches and
Amelia, Pam, were you either
Slip
you a
knots.
Girl Scout?
you Girl Scout.
Did you sail at camp?
Yeah. It's funny because I just noticed how Amelia was always wearing these ascots, like she was a flight attendant.
Yes.
And they're like, well, they'll hide something like with a turtleneck or
a scarf.
A scarf.
I immediately rethought my winter wardrobe because I'm like, what are people thinking?
I couldn't believe that when they were like, CSU didn't dust for Prince. I'm like, why didn't they dust for Prince? Like, they really stuck with like a 1 foot radius.
Yeah.
When she got on the ceiling. I was so upset about that.
Yeah, you wouldn't normally think you'd look for evidence on the ceiling.
She was literally hanging from the ceiling.
Nobody thought about that. Nobody thought about
the ceiling was the crime scene.
That's what I mean. Dust the whole ceiling. You had one job.
I mean, if she was hanging from the door, they would have dusted the door.
Well, she was hanging from the ceiling fan. And I got to tell you, I do not have enough faith in my electrician that fan would hold up my weight. I mean, she's more likely to die from a concussion of it ripping from the ceiling than, being choked to death.
Yeah, you notice that no one asked why she couldn't fight off 2 women, right?
Jesus Christ, you're right.
Yeah. That's a great point.
2 friends. God damn it, get into this nightie.
Why did Pam have to do the cross-examination, which was ostensibly some sort of intimidation tactic, if she was only going to ask, like, the one question?
Sir, don't look at them. Look at me. Did you file a civil suit?
Objection! Badgering!
I needed information.
Yes or no?
That's not how it was.
Your Honor, please order the witness to answer.
She wasn't like, are you afraid of me, Peter? She wasn't like skulking around the room. She was like, did you file a lawsuit? A question which literally anybody could have asked him. Why did she have to be the one to ask that question?
Gosh, I think it was a power. I think it was a power move. I think she just really wanted to get that enjoyment out of it.
I mean, there's a lot of things here where you can say, well, you would never say that to a woman. Like the detectives are like, didn't you say no? They would never like.
They say that to women on the show all the fucking time.
But we're not cool with it. We're not cool with it, right? And all these other things. Can you imagine in the case in court where they had the female victim and the male rapist says, I'd like to question her, Your Honor?
Also happens on this show.
It does happen on the show.
I was going to say, I've seen it. All I could think of was like the Robin Williams episode where he's like, I'm going to be my own lawyer. And yeah.
Or Peter Lewis.
Yes.
Peter Lewis. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess I wasn't thinking far enough. I was still in my season 3 mode.
Yes.
And later on, they have a meeting. And they're like, okay, first off, that went really well. Secondly, what I think we should do is we should bring that idea back sometime. Yes. Nobody complained. The sponsors didn't boycott.
Yeah.
Let's do that again.
And make it scarier.
Yes. And I'm not really cool with Finn beating up people. So maybe we should just keep, at some point, let's get him out of the business suit.
Yeah.
He's not a banker.
Yeah.
And
let's make him more talk about sneakers.
Exactly.
Let's have more of that kind of convo.
Yeah. Let's get him a subscription to Stitch Fix. So this is the deal that Cabot wants to make. A lighter sentence for homicide in exchange for testifying in a rape. So if you ever wondered who'd be better going head-to-head, Cabot or Novak, my money is apparently on Casey.
Have you heard about James McAvoy's performance in the upcoming film Speak No Evil? He gives new meaning to terrifying and will scare you speechless. The film is filled with teeth-clenching, seat-clawing suspense and will haunt you forever. Be careful who you trust. Universal Pictures and Blumhouse invite you to Speak No Evil, only in theaters September 13th.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams September holiday sale and get 30% off paints and stains from August 30th through September 9th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
All right, let's take a look at the real-life story that inspired this episode. It's time for Rip from the Headlines.
You think you know who did it. You think you know who did it. but you don't know who did it.
You don't know who did it.
Ripped from the headlines.
Some inspiration for this episode comes from the 1977 Manacled Mormon case. Joyce McKinney had a brief fling with BYU classmate Kirk Anderson. Racked with guilt, Anderson confessed his sins to his Mormon elders, but McKinney became obsessed with her one-time lover. She stalked Anderson across the West, eventually following him to England, where he was doing missionary work. With the help of an accomplice, she lured Anderson to a meeting house, then chloroformed him. He woke up in a secluded cottage, chained to the bed with mink-laced handcuffs. He said for 3 days McKinney raped him, hoping to get pregnant. McKinney told reporters she and Anderson were in love. She used bondage to help him get over his sexual hang-ups. The tabloids outdid one another with splashy headlines and lurid details. Days before her trial, McKinney fled to America using a fake passport. The British government never attempted to extradite her, and she started a new life in Utah. In the years after the Manacled Mormon case, McKinney experienced mental illness and homelessness. In 2019, she was charged with a hit-and-run crash that killed a 91-year-old Holocaust survivor who was walking his dog. A judge ruled that Joyce McKinney was unfit to stand trial and was committed to a psychiatric facility in California.
Well, what a life there. While in Utah, McKinney dated Wayne Osmond from the Osmond Brothers.
Yeah, well...
Oh,
who didn't, right?
That's where they are.
That's where the Osmond brothers are.
She probably dated like one of the Huffs from the Huff dancing family too, and the Romneys. So Sai said something there that made me raise my eyebrows.
Yeah, what's that?
After this incident, she experienced mental illness. I think she experienced mental illness.
Yeah, probably
during and before this incident as well.
Yeah, but she had been relatively, we'll say, functional.
Yeah.
In the world, it wasn't until much later in life because she had issues here. I was really surprised that the U.S. government knew that she came in on a fake passport.
They knew?
They knew. She was charged with that very minor, sentence.
What year was this?
Fine. That was 1977,
okay,
1978.
So that wasn't post 9/11.
Yeah, no, exactly. And they were just and the British government never filed to get her back. So that just kind of went away. McKinney told reporters in Great Britain that everything was consensual and her goal was to get him out of the Church of Latter-day Saints. So in other words, she was trying to fuck the Mormon out of him.
Yeah. How'd that work out?
Yeah.
She tried and tried and tried, and it didn't work. She says that when she first tied him up and tried to have sex with him, he became impotent, so she stopped and chanted a prayer over his limpness.
I thought she was trying to get him out of the Mormon church.
Yeah.
This is so confusing.
I don't know, just asking Jesus to come into this, make it a three-way? No?
Kevin, we all know Jesus is in America. You're a Mormon,
that's right. It's right. Jesus, I hope you can hear me across the ocean. Hi, I'm Jesus.
Yeah.
Did you need some help with that boner?
I don't know. This is so weird. What happened to the dude? Are you going to tell us what happened to the dude?
What happened to the dude?
We probably don't know.
Well, no, he ended up going back west. He became actually, I think, a very successful real estate owner.
Yeah.
And even in the years after, McKinney continued to stalk him.
Yeah.
Go out to different places, and she was very troubled. She became a tabloid fixture. She posed naked for a British tabloid. This is all before she fled, and she was also the date of Who drummer Keith Moon to the London movie premiere of Saturday Night Fever.
Oh my gosh.
What? I'm getting real Jerry from Survivor vibes.
This is after?
This is after the arrest, before trial when she fled.
Jerry from Survivor. That is an old-ass reference about her feelings about Colby. Is that what you're talking about? I don't think Jerry ever handcuffed Colby to anything, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And the handcuffs, they were like mink laced.
Yeah.
So they're all fuzzy handcuffs.
Yeah.
So in between her time as the Manacled Mormon and that, 2019-2020 fatal hit and run incident, McKinney was in the news because in 2008, she had her dog cloned by South Korean scientists.
That's like $50,000. How'd she afford that?
She sold her house, and she had 5 puppies cloned from her dead pit bull named Booger. Yeah, so she picked 5 boogers, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so she sold the house to afford the procedure. This was actually the first litter of cloned dogs. Someone had cloned a dog before, but this is the first time they had a litter of dogs that were all clones. I'm starting to think she has real attachment issues.
Just a little bit.
That is going to do it for us. We want to thank our guest, Natalie Grillo. Natalie, how can our listeners follow you online?
Oh, I am at Nat Grills on Instagram and at Natalie Grillo on TikTok.
And Rebecca Lavoie, how can our listeners follow you?
They can follow me everywhere that one could be followed. I'm on TikTok, but I don't post there. I just lurk at Reb Lavoie.
You can track me on Twitter, which has been renamed at Kevin P. Flynn. It hasn't been renamed Kevin P. Flynn. Twitter has been renamed, comma. You also can tweet to us at Law & Order Pod, follow us on Instagram at These Are the Stories Podcast, catch us on YouTube and TikTok now. I don't even know who I am anymore. Our newsreader is Cy Frater. Our theme music was composed and performed by Uncanny Valleys. Content assistance from Travis Roy. Lily Flynn handles promotions. All clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyrights Act fair use exemption for criticism and commentary. Go to lawandorderpodcast.com and sign up for our newsletter for a chance to be our next Law & Order Marathon winner. These Are Their Stories was recorded in the Treehouse Yoga Studio above the Mockingbird Cafe in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi studio, and is a production of Partners in Crime Media.
Partners in Crime Media. Shop the Sherwin-Williams September holiday sale and get 30% off paints and stains from August 30th through September 9th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.